With a name like Spitfire, you might expect, I don't know, fire-based powers? Well, much to my surprise, and perhaps to yours, Spitfire is actually a speedster. I can call them that, right? Speedster isn't a term exclusive to DC characters that run fast. Well, I'm still going to use it, so Spitfire is a speedster, get over it. But a lot of the speedsters in this game all exhibit similar abilities. If you recall, Quicksilver had 4 abilities. Obviously, the first one was speed, because he always ran fast, whether you wanted him to or not. He could climb walls by running up them. He can summon 2 more of him to fight alongside him with backup, and finally agility. Well, I can report that Spitfire has all the same abilities, but Spitfire actually has one more ability, and it's the reason why she's ranked over Quicksilver. She actually can use grates, which Quicksilver can't. I guess she moves fast enough to phase through the molecules of the grate, or at least I think. From what I've seen of him in the MCU, Quicksilver isn't fast enough to be able to phase through molecules. Not that it's even possible to begin with, but this is a fictional superhero universe, so anything goes. There's one more speedster I'd like to go over before moving on with the list, and it's one you might be familiar with. This guy is Speed, and if his name isn't enough of a giveaway, his main thing is going fast. If you've watched WandaVision on Disney+, you might recall that Wanda hexed herself some babies, which is very creepy. First of all, I mean, you don't even need hindsight for that. As soon as I saw it, it was pretty weird. Nevertheless, one of Wanda's twins was a kid who went fast. Well, that kid is this guy. That's right, Speed is one of Wanda and Vision's children in the comics and made his way onto WandaVision for a short time before the hex was reversed and they were like washed from existence or something. However, the post-credit scene of WandaVision suggests that we might get to see the children of Wanda once again, maybe thanks to the multiverse. In any case, Speed's appearance as a child in WandaVision puts him on the MCU edition list. As for his abilities, he has the exact same 5 as Spitfire, so Speed has speed, wall climbing, backup, agility, and great. I ranked Speed over Spitfire simply because Speed was in the MCU and I actually heard of him prior to this game. Last segment, we went over a character that we ended up seeing in a Disney Plus show, and now we're seeing a character that ended up showing up on another Disney Plus show, this time being Loki. Kang the Conqueror here showed up and dumped copious amounts of exposition on us in the Loki season finale. The MCU Kang is apparently the only good one, and he warned that other evil Kangs across the multiverse will start showing up, thus making him the next big bad of the MCU after Thanos. Probably. Let's be honest though, the Loki show wouldn't be so highly praised if it weren't for the fact that the finale set up the foreseeable future of the MCU. Maybe I'm just a negative Nancy, but aside from Kang, the Loki show was a giant green screen fest, with the romance between Loki and Sylvie being the worst part. Did anyone else get incest vibes from that kiss? But yeah, the Kang the Conqueror is going on the MCU edition list. Kang was actually a character that came with the Captain Marvel DLC, and he wasn't in the base game, surprisingly. I actually quite like his design in this game, more than his design in LEGO Marvel Super Heroes 2, where he was the main villain. His main thing is time travel, but with time travel in the MCU being nothing like time travel that Kang uses in the comics, Kang's thing in the MCU looks like it has more to do with multiverse hopping, which can have him show up in different time periods anyway, so it's fine. But time travel, or multiverse hopping, isn't translatable in this game, so he has a lot of random abilities that can be explained away by the fact that he's from the future, where technology is unmatched. Kang has electricity, technology, scan, laser, and telekinesis. Again, pretty much all those things can be explained with how the future is so advanced, except maybe telekinesis, but seeing as how he's going to be the next big bad, who cares? It's allowable. ALDRICH KILLIAN was the main antagonist of Iron Man 3, and you fight him in the level that was adapted for the film in this game. Apparently, this guy was the real Mandarin, which was wrong, but in that specific scene, he was revealing that he was behind the whole Trevor Slattery situation. I don't know, I'm speaking in quotes, but I mean, the dude looks deathly pale. And that's because in the LEGO Iron Man 3 sets, ALDRICH KILLIAN had a glow-in-the-dark headpiece because he also underwent the Extremis process. and I guess glow-in-the-dark heads is the best way for LEGO to convey that in the sets. But in this game, it's just like a white cream color. It doesn't glow in the dark, but it does glow when he uses his laser ability, which is his first ability, by the way. Aside from laser, he has 5 other abilities. He has 2 passive ones, those being fire immunity and regenerative health, and finally his 3 remaining abilities are scan, technology, and backup. Well, he was the head of AIM in the MCU at this time, so it would make sense that he was a smart guy. Also, for his backup ability, he calls in extremist soldiers to fight alongside him. Yeah, we haven't seen those guys in a while, and we'll likely never see them again. As a playable character in the Masters of Evil DLC, Radioactive Man here is not the same one from the guy from The Simpsons. No, despite them having the same names, Radioactive Man from The Simpsons was just a made-up guy for Bart to fanboy over, and that Radioactive Man even got his own line of actual comic books. But this Radioactive Man is another made-up guy from Marvel, but I don't think he has a real fan base the same way that Bart likes Radioactive Man. But the Marvel Radioactive Man was a Chinese nuclear physicist who ended up, well, like this. I don't know if it's safe for anyone to be in the proximity of this guy, but the Masters of Evil don't seem to care. Anyway, his radioactiveness gives him both laser and electricity. The electricity is questionable, but I'm not one to complain. Also, being a physicist, he can scan and do technology because he's a smart guy. The last 2 abilities are regenerative health and cracked wall, both of which I qualm with. Is he really strong enough to crack walls? And shouldn't his health deteriorate instead of regenerate? Here's another former Bucky rearing his head for this portion of the list, and I dare say it's his ugliest side, in a good way though. This is the variant of the Winter Soldier from the Civil War DLC character pack. If you're well versed with the MCU, you know that the Winter Soldier wasn't a bad guy at this point, but I don't think he was a good guy either, just a little confused is all. But Winter Soldier was one of the driving forces behind Civil War, being one of the main contentions between Steve and Tony, aside from the terrorism Wanda committed by accident. Aside from all that, Winter Soldier has a wide range of abilities, a whole 6 of them. And since the Winter Soldier has 2 variants in this game, 3 abilities per variant seems fair to me. I'll cover the ones he probably shouldn't have for this variant. Firstly, S.H.I.E.L.D. and HYDRA. Winter Soldier was an agent of HYDRA, so having HYDRA and therefore S.H.I.E.L.D. would make sense. But in Civil War, Winter Soldier has got to be a bit detached from HYDRA, right? I mean, he went AWOL. Maybe HYDRA should have revoked his HYDRA and S.H.I.E.L.D. privileges. Also, both Winter Soldier variants have backup and call and goons. They're goons in every sense of the word. They're goons. But again, in Civil War, do these goons have to answer to him? Is the Winter Soldier paying them? If I was the Winter Soldier, I'd save my money for something like food, since I probably don't have any source of revenue. I don't know, maybe I'm missing something. Here's the other Winter Soldier in this game, and it's the one based off of the namesake of the second Captain America movie. Really, there are 2 reasons why I ranked the base game Winter Soldier over the variant that was given to you in the Civil War DLC character pack. Firstly, as I mentioned in the last segment, it makes sense for this Winter Soldier to have all 6 abilities that he has, since he has more resources available to him as an employee of HYDRA or whatever. Really, the Civil War variant should only have 3 abilities, but it's easier for them to just copy and paste the base game Winter Soldier and change his design a tad, and I don't blame them for that. The second reason why I ranked this guy over the Civil War variant is just that I like the face mask he's wearing. Really completes the look. The remaining 3 abilities of Winter Soldier that I haven't seen yet are Agility, Grapple, and Explosive. Like I said, these 3 abilities make sense for the Civil War Winter Soldier to have, though you could argue he wouldn't have access to Explosive, but I mean, that's a little too nitpicky. Weirdly enough, there's a guy with Stryker as his actual last name that I think is more well known than this guy, who has Stryker as his superhero alias. You may have heard of William Stryker, who was seen in X-Men Origins Wolverine, you know, the best X-Men movie. Anyway, this is a young Avenger who worked alongside some of the other characters we've seen in this game, like Reptile, Hazmat, and others. Stryker was a child actor who manifested some lightning powers and joined the Avengers Academy, and he hasn't really done much since. Striker's electricity-based powers are easily translated in this game, especially since one of the core Avengers is literally the god of thunder, so Striker borrows a lot of those abilities. Those abilities are electricity and lightning immunity, clearly. Aside from those, he can deflect lasers, fly, and also be agile. An interesting set of abilities, making Striker a better Thor, in my opinion, especially since Striker doesn't have to charge up the way Thor does. Moondragon here has an interesting origin in the comics and relates her to one of the missing Guardians of the Galaxy in this game. Moondragon here is the daughter of Drax the Destroyer. That's right, in the comics, Drax was actually originally a human on Earth named Arthur, and was turned into that green guy after Thanos presumably killed him. And then Heather, Drax's Earth daughter, was taken to Titan to eventually become Moondragon. It's an interesting origin, very different from MCU's take on Drax, who just merely had his entire family killed. And that's it. Moondragon is categorized as a psionic, and that's reflected in this game with the telekinesis and mind control abilities. She can also use her psionicness to deflect. Moondragon has flight and agility as her last two abilities, but I'm not so sure if that has to do with her being a psionic. Sorry, psionic is my new word of the day. CLEA is a character that I'm surprised isn't in the MCU yet, but then again, the next Doctor Strange film is right around the corner, so perhaps we'll see at least a glimpse of her. CLEA is the Sorcerer Supreme of the Dark Dimension, so she's kinda big in the Doctor Strange bubble. In fact, she was the other playable character in the all-new, all-different Doctor Strange DLC level. It was kind of a neat concept, where instead of playing two characters in the same area, you had Doctor Strange in his mansion, and CLEA in the Dark Dimension, and when you switch characters, you switch entire realms. Doctor Strange had to take down Baron Mordo, while CLEA had to turn off Dormammu's television. In any other scenario, I'd consider Dormammu a bigger threat. Moral of the story, CLEA is cool, and it was cool being able to play her in a level. In terms of abilities, a lot of these Doctor Strange characters have similar ability sets, all relating to the magic side of Marvel. CLEA has telekinesis, mind control, great, flight, and regenerative health. Like I said, standard magic stuff.